So in last week's question and answer session, several people expressed wanting to continue with metta practice for another month. And as Bill and Susan mentioned, metta practice is foundational to everything that we do, and there is no equanimity without metta, without kindliness and friendliness. And also, as folks spoke to last week, metta, kindliness, creating the space for friendliness and loving and open-heartedness to emerge, enough space to include ourselves and others. With equanimity, we build on this ground to equally apply metta, karuna, compassion, mudita, joy, all of the other Brahma Viharas that we practiced all last year, to more of our moments, to more of our experience, to ourselves as to others in each moment of our lives. And as we've been practicing the paramis this year, we also build on the paramis we've been playing around with: wisdom, renunciation or letting go, release, truthfulness, wise speech, patience, commitment, determination to stay with the practice. Equanimity draws on and begins to interconnect all this that we've been practicing. We start putting the pieces together, as Bill encourages us and Sylvia Borstein talks about, using the Mitch Miller metaphor. And yes, I'm one of those people who remember sitting in my living room singing to Mitch Miller sing-alongs and watching the bouncing ball. And Sylvia talks about this in terms of equanimity, the ball landing in each moment without preference, without judgment. And she says, as we practice equanimity, we do so by experiencing the happiness, the joy of impartiality or non-judgmentalness, by paying attention to the whole truth of each moment, the good, the bad, and the ugly, the unpleasant, the pleasant, and the neutral, the whole truth. But the only way we can do that is the way we've been building our holding environment and building our practice to be able to have that perspective. And as we practice, we can feel into the embodied sense of equanimity, a sense of calmness. For me, a sense of balance brings me into the body's experience of equanimity, steadiness, regardless of the external or internal circumstances or environment. Upekkha is the Pali word that's often used for equanimity and can be interpreted also as seeing the bigger picture, and Gil Fronsdal talks about this. And I love his phrase also, to see with patience or seeing with understanding. And equanimity certainly brings in wisdom with the heart practices, again, connecting the heart mind, the citta. And this is wise view, the view of mindfulness. And I was redoing this talk this morning since I wanted to share a bit of how I wobbled in and out of equanimity this past weekend while on a short retreat. And it's still really fresh, so hopefully it comes across in a somewhat coherent and unscattered manner. So we started the retreat on Friday, and it wasn't a silent retreat, and it wasn't only for meditation or Buddhist practitioners. So it was a much more ecumenical group, so to speak. And the Friday evening introductions and opening sessions went well. And on Saturday, in a small breakout group, one of the members of the group directed really strong anger at me that really rattled me and stunned me. And I was like a deer in the headlights. It was all I could do to hold my seat. I didn't know how to respond, but I did notice, recognize, oh, stomach churning, heart beating, breath shallow, fear, confusion, uncertainty, doubt, anger. Oh, hindrance storm going on here. And I could hear Susan's voice. Tether the breath to the body to the ground, and just breathe. Okay, I can do that. I can just try to stay with my breath. I can try not to react in my habitual way that may not be very helpful. And grateful that I could be aware that the wisest action I could take was to comfort myself in that moment, bring forth metta for myself, compassion. And at the same time, I could feel, along with that compassion and metta, the pain of the diminishment of joy. It just went out the window. No balance, no calmness, no equanimity wasn't accessible in that moment, but breathing was. And realizing how I was shaken off balance and how quickly and easily that happened, and noticing how I was weeble wobbling towards aversion, towards shutting down, towards my heart closing off. Okay, I've been practicing this. Just follow the bouncing ball. Honor each feeling in each moment. And for the rest of the day, I practice with metta and compassion for myself, and as much as I could muster for others in that Sangha, starting with the easiest. A few of my dear friends who were there. Oh, dear, you're still a good person. My cat still loves me. My friends still care about me. Okay, I can do this. Working towards slowing down and making those wobbles less extreme, less fraught. Noticing, as we've been practicing, unhelpful thoughts. I should just leave. After all these years of practice, can't you get this right? Can't you do better? Realizing not helpful. Practicing renunciation. Oh yeah, we practice this. Let it go. Not helpful. Unskillful. Not oriented towards my well-being or anybody else's. Okay, ground, breathe, calm, settle, soothe. One more time. Ground, breathe, calm, settle, soothe. I could just follow the bouncing ball of whatever was arising in the moment as best I could without judging it, just letting it be what it was with kindness and orienting just a little bit more towards calm acceptance and balance. I could become a little bit more balanced in the equanimity of truthfulness. Not blaming other people for causing me pain, but being honest with myself about how my words may have caused pain for another person, even if unintentionally, and not get weeble wobbled into shame. Oh, how could you? That was really okay, not helpful, come back, center, ground, calm, settle, soothe. But that was only once I could hold myself kindly and compassionately could I let truthfulness and honesty arise. And at some point, the next morning, on Sunday morning, after the morning meditation, I was able to access the awareness that me and the other person, the person who'd been angry at me, we were connected. We weren't separate beings. That my well-being and hers were the same, were equal. Equanimity was accessible and could be present as I could hold both her and me in a space of metta and compassion. And immediately my heart was filled with joy. I could reconnect to joy. I was able to hold this person in my heart again with the wisdom and understanding how we were both feeling scared and vulnerable and hurting. No difference, no me, no her, just us, no other. And through practicing and honoring all my feelings and moments as equally I could, doing my best to respond to each moment without bias, without judgment, without preference, without clinging or aversion, I had gotten my joy back and relieved my suffering. It was so amazing. It felt magical. I was able to reach out then and put this into action to this person, not by explaining myself or talking about what had happened, but just with kindness, with a word of kindness, with an offering of kindness, with genuine care and compassion, and smile and hold her in my heart and reach out in that way and share an experience with her that I thought might be helpful to her. And I could see her face soften as well. And I could look into her eyes. And there was just such gratitude and joy for that experience, for that learning, and for our practice. So thank you all for your kind attention and for your presence and for all your love and support in our practice.